Hey, welcome to Boozy Bookshelf, the podcast where I revisit my favorite childhood books with adult eyes and an impaired mind. My name is Ashley, and this week I'm joined once again by my lovely roommate Crystal. This week we read chapters 16 through 19 of Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead. I read this book 10 years ago but never finished the series, and this is Crystal's first time reading. We had so much fun coming up with theories, so grab a glass of wine and join us on this journey. What are we drinking and what did we read?
We're drinking Chardonnay. The brand is Josh. And we are reading chapters 16 and 17 of Vampire Academy, which, if I do say so myself, it is fucking nuts.
Dude, I wish that I could just fly through this book. I want to read it. I want to read all the rest of the books. I am officially obsessed. These last 5 chapters or so really sucked me in. I am obsessed. I'm obsessed.
I love it. I have not been an avid book reader since probably high school, and this definitely revived my love for them. So kudos to you, Richelle Mead. You are the bee's motherfucking knees.
So I honestly read probably like 80 to 100 books a year, and honestly, I just want to read this book. Like, I would sit here for 2 days and fly through this book and the next book and just record podcasts with you if you didn't have a boyfriend to go to tonight. Okay, well, let's get into it. Chapter 16 starts with Rose noticing that a lot of the gossip about her is going away. Now everyone is paying attention to Lissa and Aaron. Mia found out that they were hanging out and bitched at him, so he broke up with her. Now Lissa and Aaron are always all over each other. Lissa's feelings and the bond only show mild interest, and he is completely obsessed. Mia is destroyed and always looks like she's been crying. Christian is observing with hatred. Rose goes to see the elemental magic teacher, who tells her that St. Vladimir doesn't seem to have specialized. She also says that his healing is not related to magic. Rose also asks what Miss Carp specialized in, and the teacher says that she never specialized either. Later, Rose finds Lissa and tells her to stop Project Brainwash, but Lissa insists on keeping it going. Rose worries that using compulsion is going to mess with her head. She points out that Miss Carp went crazy from using her power. She tells Lissa her theory about Miss Carp and St. Vladimir. She says that St. Vladimir tried to kill himself and Miss Carp would claw at her own face. Lissa says that she has to keep up with the royals for her family, but she agrees to stop using her powers. Rose suggests that she drop Aaron for Christian. Lissa says that he's a jerk because he stopped talking to her. Later, Rose finds Christian and stops him and asks him to hang out with Lissa again. Christian says that she's in too deep with the royals. Rose realizes that Lissa connects to Christian because they both saw their parents die. Christian describes the day that the Guardians killed his parents. He was young and didn't even realize that they had become Strigoi. He says that they planned on converting him as well, but his Aunt Tasha stopped them. She fought them until the Guardians got there. Rose apologizes for ruining his relationship with Lissa. He promises that if he sees Lissa alone, he will talk to her. And then chapter 17, a few days later, Lissa reveals that Victor Dashkov is taking the girls shopping. She says that Victor and Dmitri are trying to get permission for Rose to go. She says that they're going to get dresses for the upcoming dance. Lissa looks for something in her backpack and screams as a dead dove falls out. Lissa subconsciously tries to heal it. Natalie walks outside and freaks out. Rose goes to Kurova's office and starts to wonder if someone knows that Lissa can heal. And then the next day, Kurova gives Rose permission to go shopping. Dmitri convinced Kurova that they could use it as a training exercise. They drive 2 hours to Missoula with Lissa, Victor, Natalie, Camille, Dmitri, Rose, and 3 other guardians. Rose points out that Lissa should have another guardian as a princess, and they tell her that she is acting as Dimitri's partner. Dmitri feels the need to clarify that they mean guarding partner. Dmitri asks if she would be able to kill a Strigoi if it was someone that she used to know. He says that if she hesitates, she could die or Lissa could die. Rose asks how to make sure that she doesn't hesitate, and Dmitri tells her to remember that they aren't the person they used to be. He says that they would be grateful if she kills them. They both agree that if they were turned Strigoi, they would want to be killed. Rose realizes why she feels so connected to Dmitri. They both understand the life and death consequences of being a guardian and take it very seriously. She knows that because of this, they understand each other in a lot of ways. Someone points out that their conversation is reminiscent of Mikhail and Sonia Karp. Miss Karp became Strigoi by choice, and Mikhail chased her to kill her. They get to the mall, and Lissa offers to buy some clothes for Rose. She picks out some very practical winter clothes, which surprises Lissa. Rose remembers finding out about Miss Carp becoming Strigoi right before they left school. Rose never told Lissa because the same day Lissa had said that someone was following her, and Rose got scared for Lissa's sanity. Rose decided that that was the moment that they needed to run. She gets Lissa to compel their way out of school. Back in the present, Lissa worries that she'll end up like Miss Carp. She finds a black dress for Rose, but Rose can't try it on because she's in guardian mode. Lissa buys it for her anyway. They find a necklace that would match it, but it's way too expensive. And then on the way home, Rose is very aware of how close she is to Dimitri, both physically and emotionally. He asks if he saw the dress and if she'll endanger her reputation by wearing it. He whispers that she'll endanger the whole school, and then she falls asleep with a smile. When she wakes up, her head is on Dimitri's shoulder and his duster is draped over her. And then and then on the way back into school, Rose is happy and jumping on benches. The wood on the bench falls apart under her and snaps her ankle. She feels the worst pain she's ever felt in her entire life and then blacks out.
All right, so I'm going to hop in right here. You remember when I was on crutches for 18 weeks? I never even fall on broke my femur, motherfucker. That shit fractured, and I was down on the ground, passed out. Assed out, passed out. She said she felt her ankle turn in an unnatural position. Dude, I'm gagging. I'm not going to gag on the live because that's gross, but oh my god.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. The only bone I've ever broken is my nose. Fun fact, my nose got broken by a 5-year-old when I was 19. And it hurt pretty bad. And I have a really high pain tolerance. And granted, I finished the workday, but it was still a lot. I can't even imagine breaking like an actual big bone in my leg or
That
something.
was the only thing I have ever heard, thank God. But let's just dive right in. My first note is Dimitri is advocating for Rose to leave the campus to go shopping with Natalie, Victor, and Lissa. My initial thoughts after that was Strigoi were going to attack out of nowhere, but it turned out to be very
I
different.
feel like there's going to be some sort of plot development in the next chapter that is very relevant to the shopping trip. Also, the conversations that they had in the car, I feel like that was very relevant to the plot. But before we talk about that, I do have something that I wanted to say about chapter 16. When Rose is talking to Lissa, she suggests that Lissa drop Aaron for Christian, but literally 2 chapters ago, she tried to get Lissa to drop Christian for Aaron.
That was before she realized that Christian actually played a strong role in Lissa's life, I feel like. Were you shocked to find out that Mia and Aaron broke up soon after the party? I saw that coming, but I didn't see Aaron calling her bluff. Do you think Lissa compulsed him to break up with her and get back together with her?
I actually don't think that Lissa has had to compel Aaron at all because it said during the party scene in chapter 15, I believe, that she wasn't using compulsion on Aaron and that Aaron was just still that obsessed with her.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was leaning towards, but my conspiracy theory mind, I kind of went nuts.
Rose's internal monologue finally admits to herself that she yelled at Christian out of anger and jealousy.
Which is what we called right off the get go. I feel like that was pretty obvious, but I do see some character development in Rose in these 2 chapters, and that I feel like that was kind of foreshadowing it.
When Rose and Christian were talking, through her inner monologue, I could feel Rose being a lot more mature than she was even just at the beginning of this book. Like, we're only 16 chapters in at this point, and she has already developed a lot internally than she was in the first chapter of this book, where she was very much speaking like a teenager, even in her own head.
I would totally agree. I would say, in my words, she's a little more soft now, and I don't mean that in like a physical sense. I mean that as in she's learned to hear people out, to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I really like that about Rose, but part of me is also wondering because we're also seeing Dimitri's character development, and they're steadily both on the same wavelength, and I'm wondering if they kind of mirror each other.
Yeah, they're definitely on the same wavelength. I also wanted to point out that Christian's Aunt Tasha is Moroi, but she tried to fight off the Strigoi and apparently got really messed up before the Guardians got there. And I think that that's really badass that she, as a Moroi, fought off some Strigoi.
That was actually a note I had. Thank you for bringing that up. So, Christian didn't know his parents were Strigoi before they were murdered. And that leads me to continue with there's different stages of Strigoi. Yes, they were planning on changing him when he got older. Yes, they tried to change the sister. But what if that's because they've seen the other side? They've seen that maybe the Moroi are the more toxic ones, I get. I don't know. I feel like there's more to the Strigoi lore than what they're hinting off on.
I think that there's definitely more to Strigoi than they know because obviously they're not like spending time with Strigoi. I'm sure that they have like desires and ambitions and things like that, but I don't think that I think that the whole purpose of the Strigoi is that they can't like they basically lose their soul. So they're not who they used to be. They're like the worst version of themselves. So instead of wanting Christian to be a Strigoi with them because they love him and he's their child, they probably are looking at Christian and being like, okay, we're going to change him so that we have another person in our force, because they were going to wait until he's older to change him so that he's stronger, he's more developed mentally and physically, he's able to also help defend them. That's the way that I viewed that. Also, Christian was really young when his parents were turned, and he is a Moroi, so he's not brought up like the Novice Guardian, so he probably doesn't really know the signs of Strigoi because he's never encountered them before. So he probably just thought that his parents were acting weird and looked funny.
I'm going to stop you right there. So at this point, we are technically no different than the teenagers they're teaching right now. We only know what the book has told us. I feel like there is more that meets the eye because they have come back again and again. They've given them more human like attributes. And what if the only difference is like they have to kill to live, or they have to do just this certain what? I just, man, I feel like I'm onto something.
I see the Strigoi thinking as if they are animals almost. Like they view situations like as survival. Like if we change another person, we'll have another person in our ranks and they'll be able to help us defend ourselves. I just had an idea. So do you think the Strigoi can survive off of animal blood, or does it have to be humans or Moroi or Dampiers? Because what you're getting at, I got a little bit of Twilight
I
in
think
there.
animal blood could only sustain them for so long because the fact that they had to kill another Moroi or Dampier, right? They just had to kill somebody while feeding, which would lead me to believe that some of their power comes from like not their soul, but like their life force. Like they're taking in more energy from the person they're killing, and they're not going to get that much from the animal.
I like where you're going with this. I don't know. I could see some Strigoi having some redeeming qualities. I feel like we just haven't. We've never encountered a Strigoi in this book. We don't really have enough information to make an opinion about Strigoi and whether or not the stigmas of Strigoi are true.
All right, so right now you are against Strigoi.
I'm Team Strigoi are bad boys.
I'm advocating for Strigoi. I think they're good.
I don't think they're good. I think that they probably are capable of feeling emotions and they're probably capable of working as a team, but I feel like when they work as a team and they feel these emotions, they're very animalistic and they're looking for their own gain. Yes, Crystal. Yes, Crystal. She started raising her hand when she has something to add.
Okay, so Saint Vladimir, he never specialized. Miss Carp never specialized. Lissa never specialized. What if, since they are able to wield all elemental magic, they're able to literally cure people, do all this stuff? What if they are the only possible Strigoi to ever keep their minds? No, hear me out. I see the look you're giving me, but Miss Carp, she turns into a Strigoi, but I feel like she is the one leaving the dead animals. I really feel like the fact that she is able to harness all that magic, like magic and elemental power, she is able to handle being a Strigoi.
Wow, that's a lot. I need to think about that for a second. My only question for you is how is Miss Carp getting into the school to leave these animals if she's a Strigoi and she can't get past the wards and the guardians that guard the school?
So get this, Miss Carp was a part of the faculty for we don't know how long. She would know the wards, she would know the ins and outs, and if she literally chose to kill two guardians to save Lissa, you better bet your boppy she had an escape plan. You better bet your boppy she had a backup plan. From what I'm getting right now is Miss Carp was a bad bitch. She didn't know, but she knew what was gonna happen.
Dude, I love this. I love this so much. Why didn't we start a podcast earlier? This is so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that's your standing theory on Miss Carp?
That is my standing theory on Miss Carp.
Miss Carp scars change because she claws at her own face. And I asked this question literally last week. Why were her scars changing? We got the answer, and I'm so excited about it.
Oh my god. All right, see, Miss Carp knew that Lissa was going to struggle with the self harm aspect. I don't know where I'm going to go with that one, but we're going to keep that. I'm standing up right now. We're going to keep that point for later on.
I just like to point out that she is literally standing up at her desk.
Miss Carp, technically, what if. Okay. All right, what if. Hear me out. What if. They say St. Vladimir went crazy. What if he realized he could harness the magic and power and he chose to become Strigoi? What if that is why it's stigmatized? What if that's why they didn't want Lissa knowing she was capable of this? Because then she would become a very powerful Strigoi vampire thing. I think they have more humanity, and I think this is so much bigger than anybody thought.
Now she's pacing. Oh, now we're on the floor. Okay.
I will get there someday.
Wow. I really love this. I really love you're going places. I don't know where you're going, but you're going places. My next note literally just says justice for Christian Ozera at the end, all capitals in bold. Justice for Christian Ozera. I want Christian and Lissa together. I want them to be madly in love. I want them to get married. I want them to take over the world. I am obsessed with Christian. Christian is my favorite character so far.
He has picked up on these small, minute details about Lissa. You could tell he's crazy about her, but he's literally withholding himself. He knew Rose was full of shit, and this I really ship him and Lissa, and just the character he's playing right now. I feel like he's gonna die.
You think he's gonna die? No, he's not. He's not allowed.
That's why I think he's gonna die. He's not allowed to die. He grew on me like slowly. At first, he did kind of give me the ick, but now I'm just like, this dude's gonna die.
But I love Christian.
I love him too. That's why he's gonna die.
I got a different vibe. Let me tickle your brain for a second here.
You can tickle my brain whenever you want.
So let's jump ahead about 5-6 pages when they're in the car on the way to the mall, and they're talking about how they would both want someone to kill them if they become Strigoi.
Yeah.
That's foreshadowing. One of them's gonna become Strigoi. One of them's gonna become Strigoi and die.
I don't think one of them are going to have to die. I think one of them are going to have to come to the moral decision that some Strigoi are good. That is what I got from that, because with my theory I have right now, I think the Strigoi mortality debacle is going to become a bigger thing because they are shoving it in our face right now that they're bad. But then Christian said, I could never tell a difference in my parents.
You see my look of shock right now? I am. Wait. Oh my god. Wait, I think you just figured out the plot of the entire series.
This is why I don't read books or watch movies. I get to the end and I'm like, fuck. I knew it.
Oh my god. We gotta finish this fucking book. I want to read the rest of the series today. The next note that I had was that Rose realized Christian isn't a bad guy, and they actually have a pretty good conversation.
So, this is going to be a side conspiracy theory. I feel a little bit of love triangle coming on. I feel Christian at the end was kind of poking fun at old Rose there.
I didn't get a love triangle vibe at all. I actually got the vibe that Rose and Christian are very similar, and that's probably why Lissa likes Christian so much, is because he's basically the boy version of her best friend, but they also have the exact same experiences, just in different ways.
Oh man. So that opened up a whole new can of worms in my head. I really didn't think about the fact that Christian and Rose are very similar. I mean, so I can kind of see that, and then maybe Rose picks up on that over time and realizes that they're similar, and then she gets even more jealousy. Now I'm just gonna start snowballing. So we have so many more books left right now. I don't think we can have like a sound guess on who the love triangle will be. Every good teenage dystopian book has a love triangle, I feel like. But no, I don't think we've met the third party yet.
I was saying before that every one of these vampire books has a love triangle. Do you think the love triangle is Christian and Lissa and Rose? Because I don't agree with that. I'm on Team Mason.
No, I don't really see that. No
Yeah,
offense.
no, I really like Mason as a character. What if Dimitri, Rose, and Mason, and then Mason becomes Strigoi? That would also explain the scene in the car where they're talking about having to kill someone that they care about. Because then maybe Dimitri has to help Rose kill Mason because he's a Strigoi. You cannot convince me that that scene is not foreshadowing for something. Somebody is going to become Strigoi.
Rose seems like she is growing so fast. She's going to be too strong willed. She knows she doesn't like, unless Dimitri does something to betray her.
Oh, what if Dimitri is like, no, I'm not going to date you. You're too young. And then he like dates somebody else. And then so she's like, oh, I'll just date whoever's into me. And that's Mason.
So we're on the same page. I think the moment he sees Rose with Mason, that'll kick something into drive and push the story further.
My new running theory is that the love triangle is Dimitri, Rose, Mason, and that Mason becomes Strigoi and that she has to go kill Mason and maybe Dimitri has to help her. I don't know.
See now, okay, so I had my little train of thought before, but now
Because if they're guardian partners, then he would be the one that helps her kill the Strigoi.
they did allude to the fact that she's gonna have to kill somebody she loves.
I love this theory. The next note that I made was during the shopping trip, I really loved that Dimitri treated Rose as an equal. He treated her as a guarding partner the whole time. He had Rose on near guard the whole time. And Rose took it very seriously, which I also loved as well. She showed a lot of maturity in that.
Actually, I made a note on the way home from the mall. Rose realized that part of why she liked Dimitri so much was the fact that he was so driven to be a guardian, so ready to protect whoever, whenever, and that's kind of how she feels. And I thought that was a cool thing to notice, the fact that she realized that's kind of where their bond is stemming from.
They both have the same ideas and ambitions and goals, and they both have the same respect for the job that they're doing. They both would lay down their life for Lissa, and they both put Lissa before themselves. And I feel like they identify very well with each other in that sense, where they both devote their life to the same cause and the same person within that cause. I also really liked that Dimitri felt the need to clarify that they were guarding partners. He obviously is feeling the same connection as Rose in that moment because Rose is very aware of him and he's clearly aware of her as well because he had to clarify.
That is the first time we get confirmation that this is canon, but the fact that he felt the need to clarify that really, I thought it was adorable, man.
I just picture Dimitri saying that and then being like, why the fuck did I say that? Like, obviously, we're guarding partners. My next note we already touched on was they agree that if either of them were to become Strigoi, they would want to be killed. And then all capitals says foreshadowing fuck. Something's going to happen. Somebody is going to become Strigoi and need to be killed. My next note says Rose chooses practical clothes, and this is another sign of Rose maturing. I feel like Rose has matured very quickly. All capitals, my notes say Dimitri likes the dress.
Oh man, Dimitri loves the dress. Rose asked Dimitri if she would be putting her reputation in danger by wearing the dress, and then he looked at her and said, "No, you'll be putting the school in danger." Oh,
I just picture him like slightly leaning over and just whispering to her, "You'll endanger the whole school." That's so fucking hot.
it is so hot.
My next note just says Big Daddy Duster in all capitals. Draped his duster over Rose when she fell asleep on his shoulder, and I just think that that is the cutest fucking thing ever. I am obsessed. I have all of the feelings. Richelle Mead, good job. I told you that you needed to give me feelings. You gave me all the feelings. I am
It
obsessed.
made me feel something for the first time in 5 years. So
I have so many feelings for Big Daddy Duster. As of right now, at chapter 17, what are your thoughts on Natalie?
I can't decide whether or not I think Miss Carp or Natalie are leaving the dead animals. I'm leaning more towards Miss Carp to be like, hey, I saw what happened before. You need to get out. What I said is still true. I think Natalie is just a soul sucking son of a bitch who's trying to get the upper hand. They did mention that Victor is really more proud of Lissa, so Natalie feels kind of attention starved. And I think that's as far as her story will go, though. I don't think Natalie has a villain arc.
Okay, all right. As of chapter 17, what do you think about Mia?
I want to punt that bitch off a cliff.
All right, well,
On that note,
on that note, do you have any questions for me? Okay, well, as of chapter 17, what's your theory about Christian Ozera that he's gonna die?
Yeah, no, that dude's gonna die. He's dead. As of right now, in my head, Christian Ozera, he's dead. He's gonna die.
I refuse. I refuse to acknowledge your theory out of fear that it could happen.
Here's how sure I am. If he winds up not dying, if Christian somehow lives by the end of the series, you get to choose a neck tattoo of your choice and placement
Bet.
on me.
This is a bet. If Christian dies, I'm gonna be heartbroken. I'm out of notes and we're rambling. Do you have anything else to add? Hey, it's future Ashley in editing. I just wanted to pop in once again and say thank you guys so much for listening. If you're enjoying our drunk ramblings about children's novels, please feel free to leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you, and you can also find us on TikTok and Instagram by searching Boozy Bookshelf. You can find me on Twitter at Truly Tripping. I post a new episode of this podcast every Tuesday. I'd love some feedback or discussion ideas from you guys. But without further ado, here's our next section. We're just hoping for the best today.
Sober podcast.
Sober podcast. It's the next day since the last time we recorded. How was your day, Crystal?
I am existing.
We're getting by.
Somehow, some way. I am excited to dive into chapter 18 and 19, even though not a lot happened.
Not a lot happened, but I split it up this way because a lot happens soon. And there's still a lot of unanswered things. So I'm assuming that all of the questions will be answered in the next 5 chapters. So I split it up this way so that it makes sense in the future.
I'm just so happy I figured out that Miss Carp was a Strigoi. I'm still reeling off of that.
All right, well, Rose wakes up in the clinic. Dimitri is there with her. His voice soothes her. She's groggy from the pain meds and says that her ankle doesn't hurt at all. Dimitri tells her that her ankle isn't injured. He also tells her that he carried her to the clinic and Rose imagines being in his arms. He gives her a present from Victor. It's the necklace that she had been admiring at the mall with Lissa. Dimitri tells her that Victor got it for her in honor of her first day guarding Lissa. He tells her that she did a good job and that he got her a present as well. It's her favorite lip gloss that she had ran out of a while ago, and she had complained about it before, but never thought that he was paying attention. She asks if this is also to celebrate her first day, and Dimitri reveals that he got it to make her happy. Rose gives him a hug, which surprises both of them, and Dimitri returns it. Dimitri says that he was worried when she fell. Looking into his eyes makes Rose feel all warm. And then he reaches up and touches her cheekbone before winding a lock of hair around his finger like he had in the gym. Rose thinks about kissing him, and then the doctor comes in. The doctor says she is clear to leave, and Dimitri brings her her shoes and coat. Dimitri says that she must have a guardian angel because she survived the car accident and didn't injure her ankle. Rose suddenly panics and asks where Lissa is. He says that she had been there earlier. Rose feels for her through the bond and sees that Lissa is anxious and upset. Rose realizes that Lissa healed her ankle and that she had healed her in the car accident as well. Lissa's depression had started right after the accident, and Rose wonders if the healing caused it. Rose reaches for Lissa's mind in the bond and says that she's never felt such intense emotions from Lissa before. Lissa is in the chapel attic crying. Christian finds her and asks if she is okay. She snaps at him, and Christian accidentally reveals that Rose told him to leave Lissa alone. He also says that she wouldn't have become popular again if they had kept hanging out. Lissa says that she is only playing the popular game to get revenge on Mia for Rose. Christian reveals that Mia hates Lissa because of her brother Andre. They had secretly dated, and Andre had broken her heart. Christian kisses Lissa, and it's super passionate, and it makes Lissa feel more alive than Aaron or anybody else ever has. Lissa is filled with desire and rage and yells at Christian to get out. He makes a joke before leaving, and then Lissa starts crying again, and she feels like she is drowning in emotions. She pulls a razor blade from her purse and cuts herself, and it's much deeper this time. Rose breaks free of Lissa's head and is back in the clinic with Dimitri. Dimitri is trying to shake her to get her attention. He looks worried, and Rose realizes that she trusts him. She tells him that they have to go help Lissa. Chapter 19, Rose waits at the clinic while Dimitri gets Alberta and goes to Lissa. They bring Lissa back unconscious. Lissa is mad that Rose told. Rose tells Lissa that she thinks Lissa healed her during the car accident. Lissa is scared that she's going to get taken away like Miss Carp and tells Rose to get out. Lissa has to go to the counselor every day and is put on medication. Rumors about Lissa being in the clinic spread, even though no one knows why she was there. Everyone also notices that Lissa isn't speaking to Rose. Mia approaches her and is a bitch once again. Rose yells and threatens her. Mia is scared and calls her crazy. When it's time for the dance, Rose doesn't even want to go anymore, but then Mason shows up and convinces her to go so that they can go to the after parties. She gets ready quickly and they run across the commons. Rose is wearing heels and holding onto Mason to steady herself, and they're laughing and being really cute. They run into Dimitri and Alberta. Alberta and Mason talk for a while, but Rose and Dimitri just stare at each other, incapable of speech. Rose is wearing the black dress and it looks amazing on her. She's wearing the fancy necklace that Victor got her and has her hair down the way that Dimitri likes it. Rose remembers that she's holding Mace's hand and lets go, and then they walk away to enter the dance. Mason takes her to Jesse and Ralph, and they tell her that Mia made them spread the rumors because Mia was having sex with both of them.
Oh my god.
God, that was difficult to get through today.
I'm going to start out with I got instant feels when we found out Dimitri was sitting right by her the whole time she was out, and he was there to soothe her when she woke up. I kind of knew right away once we found out that Lissa had been there that she had healed Rose and that it was about to be big.
When Rose woke up and she wasn't in any pain, I also just kind of assumed that Lissa healed her. I didn't know how big of an effect it would have on Lissa, though.
It was kind of scary for me to read that once Rose jumped into her head in the attic, she actually brought up how hard it was to escape Lissa's head. I just feel like Rose knew right away that Lissa wasn't going to be cool, especially after learning that, quote unquote, they go mad the more they use their powers.
I like how Dimitri's voice soothed her when she woke up. I thought that that was very cute. I also thought it was adorable that he got her lip gloss and admitted that it was just to make her happy.
Yeah, we're getting somewhere with them. That gave me really strong feels. And then the way he curled her hair around his finger, like, why is there not a Dimitri in my life?
Oh my gosh, I know. Also, I liked that Dimitri was clearly worried about her when she was hurt, and he very clearly cares about her. I mean, he like picked her up and carried her to the clinic. I just thought that was the whole thing was pretty cute.
Do you think Rose and Dimitri stood in silence at each other? Well, I mean, they didn't say he was dressed up. Was she just like astounded by how sexy? I know he was like awestruck by the way she looked, but I thought it was kind of funny how they both just stood there. Like I'm just imagining them in like intense eye contact while Alberta and Mason like have a full just jolly conversation, just like
Yeah, that's pretty much how I pictured it with the intense staring, and I don't know. I just imagine him just staring at her and not being able to look away, and then Rose just staring back because he's staring so intensely and it's like kind of hot.
I mean, what would you do if somebody that sexy was just like eating you up with their eye? Okay, I guess we really okay. This is really hard.
This is really difficult to do sober. They have a cute little awkward hug. Dimitri is surprised when Rose hugs him, but he does hug her back.
I really wanted them to kiss. You know that meme where it's like, now kiss? That was going on in my head.
They both clearly have feelings for each other, but they're doubting that the other person returns the feelings. And Dimitri's probably also really hesitant because of her age and his role as her mentor.
Do you think that he's kind of weary of Mason? I mean, he did see them holding hands. Do you think he kind of I mean, I kind of get the vibe to where he still wants Rose to have as normal of a life as she can, and dating a mentor would definitely derail that. But do you think he thinks she's into Mason?
I feel like he definitely has noticed her being around Mason a lot, and he's probably noticed that Mason likes her. He's definitely seen them flirting before because he was the one that took her to the gym her first day back in like chapter 2, and she told Mason like, "Oh, picture me naked" or something. "Picture me naked on your own time." I think that that's what she said. And so I feel like he definitely picks up on the fact that that Mason likes her and that they have some sort of flirtatious friendship. I would not be surprised if he's jealous a little bit, but I think he also knows that there's really nothing he can do about it as her mentor.
Do you think he's also jealous that he can't spend that kind of quality time with Rose? Like he gets to see Mason like hang out with her and they're able to act differently. Like Rose and Dimitri have to have a mentor kind of relationship in public. Do you think it kind of rubs him the wrong way to see her having fun with Mason, like wishing it was him?
I feel like he probably is very graceful about it, even in his own head. He probably is just accepting that it's happening, and he probably still likes Mason and respects Mason. He's probably happy for Rose that somebody is making her happy. I honestly see Dimitri being a little self loathing in this situation. I see him thinking that Rose deserves better, maybe. Because, I mean, he's much older. He's got to have some sort of complex mentally. He's got to be thinking of himself negatively just for having these feelings that he has. But he probably is definitely a little jealous, and he just knows that he can't really do anything about it.
What are your thoughts on Rose wondering if she kind of caused Lissa's depression? I don't really understand how she could think that, honestly, because this was all going to happen to Lissa sooner or later. I mean, come on.
I think that Rose just feels bad that Lissa healing her was kind of the trigger. It was kind of like the beginning of everything. And Lissa definitely would have healed something or someone eventually, and the same things would have happened to her. But I think Rose just feels bad that it was her. I think that she also has some sort of complex because she's supposed to be the person taking care of Lissa and like preserving Lissa, basically. But she was actually the catalyst for Lissa's mental downfall.
I feel like Rose should be a little bit more at peace knowing that, though, because I mean they're bonded for life, and who better to be bonded with than your best friend that you've known your whole life?
That's true. And now when Rose becomes her guardian, it's going to be so much easier to guard Lissa. She's always going to know where she is.
Why do you think Lissa was so pissed at Rose and made her leave? I understand Rose talking to Christian, but I feel like Lissa has an ulterior motive in that she just doesn't want Rose to know what she's about to do.
I don't think that she has an ulterior motive. I don't even think that she was that mad about Christian. She was definitely mad about it. But I think that what pissed her off is that Rose told somebody that she was cutting herself, and now she has to go to counseling every day, and people are going to think that she's crazy, and she's worried that she's going to get taken away like Ms. Carp. And I think she's also mad because Rose threatened to tell people about her being able to heal, and she's scared for the same reason. She doesn't want to end up like Ms. Carp.
Yeah, but Rose would never let that happen.
Yeah, but I think Lissa is just scared because it's the unknown. She's never told people about this stuff before other than Rose, and so now that other people know, she's just scared.
Yeah, I guess from the outside looking in, I'm kind of like not giving Lissa the benefit of the doubt. I would definitely be terrified if I was in her shoes. Oh my god, Lissa's brother fucking Mia over. Literally. Makes a lot of sense now, but where the fuck does Mia get off having sex with Ralph and Jesse? Was it to like woo them with her pussy to like start lies about Rose? I don't get it. Like, fuck me and then go lie about this bitch. I don't understand.
Yeah, I actually have a note that says Mia did something icky and then made up a rumor that Rose did the same icky. What a fucking bitch. Time for Rose to fight her.
Like, I just don't understand. Like, was it so good? They were like, yes, I will do exactly what you say. I don't understand how Mia still has so much power.
So I think in my brain, what I got from this is that she told Ralph and Jesse that if they spread these rumors, she would sleep with them.
What? Fucking pigs. What the fuck? Can you not get laid elsewhere? Jesus.
God. Big Daddy Duster sexy eye contact returns when he sees her in the dress before the dance. Talked about that a little. I want that scene from Dimitri's point of view so bad.
Did you get kind of a little bit of feels when Mason was like, I have a surprise for you, and then he pulls Rose across the dance floor to Jesse and Ralph, and the surprise was that he was able to clear her name a bit and get her a little more info into what the hell is going on, because he knew that actually meant a lot to her.
I love Mason. I love Mason so much.
I kind of wish that, like, Rose had a twin sister so we can have Mason and Rose and Dimitri and Rose.
I think that we're going to get a little bit of both at some point. I feel like, okay, here's my theory, my running theory. Dimitri and Rose are not going to get together until after she graduates, but it's going to be like a constant sexual tension until she graduates. And while she's got this sexual tension thing going on with Dimitri and she's still in school, I feel like she's going to date Mason.
She's going to break his heart.
Yeah, I definitely see that happening. Mason's such a good guy. He's such a good character. I love Mason.
Did you think the kiss between Christian and Lissa was kind of hot and steamy? I saw that coming from a mile away, but I was rooting for him. I was like, finally!
I was so excited. I was so excited. I was also really glad that even though Lissa was a bitch to him afterwards, he took it very well and didn't seem to take it personally. I feel like he just kind of knew that she was upset.
I feel like he knew she was going to react that way in general because he poked fun at her and was like, that's what you do when you like somebody. And he knows that she knows he's right. So, I mean, fucking think about it. If we were in Lissa's position, I would definitely snap and be like, get the fuck out of here. You're making me feel things. Like, get out.
Stop giving me feelings, Christian.
Just let me want to die in peace.
What did you think of the present that Victor got for Rose?
I thought that was really sweet. So when I first read this last night and I was drunk, when I read the little note he gave Rose with the necklace, I for some reason I thought that meant that he could heal too.
Yeah, you were texting. Hold on, I'm going to read the text you sent me last night. She went to, after we recorded last night, she went to her boyfriend's house and she sent me a series of text messages. It says, did Lissa heal Rose? But it's a rose emoji. What the fuck? Did Lissa heal Rose? Holy shit. Oh fuck. Jake doesn't understand. Victor is sick because he heals people. I'm shitting my pants. Dimitri. Oh man.
Drunk me thought she was onto something, and then I woke up today and saw my notes and was like, what the absolute fuck? I'm excited to read the next chapters, though. I'm very excited.
We're so close to the end. Okay, give me your best theory for the next 5 chapters. We're so close to the end. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. I still don't really understand who the enemy is.
You're going to shit your pants when you find out. I remember a lot of stuff.
Is it Victor?
Is it? Or is it somebody else?
Man, I don't like when you do this. I'm so unsure. I'm so unsure. um, I don't really know what the climax is gonna be. I mean, I do see Lissa kind of going off the deep end of even more, and Rose like having to save her ass even though she's mad at her. Um, I really I love this book, but I have absolutely no idea what the fuck is going on at any given moment.
I think everything will make sense after. I'm really excited for the next like 5 chapters because there's a lot that I remember that hasn't happened yet, which means it all has to happen very quickly.
It's gonna be jam packed. I'm ready for it. I really don't know. I'm like racking my brain. It's taken everything in me not to go ahead in the book either.
I wanted to keep reading so bad this time. I was not ready to stop.
You ever feel like there's just a bug in your ear?
All the time. I I always get so concerned.
I'm just over here tripping. What did you just say?
I don't remember. Do you have any thoughts or ideas or theory? What do you think about Natalie right now?
I know she's not going around and denying these rumors for her cousin. I didn't like the way she was probing for more information after Lissa went to the clinic as usual, and I don't know what her ulterior motive is yet, but I fucking hate Natalie. She can go off the cliff too, honestly.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you to read the rest of this book. I think I remember almost everything that happens now. As we've gotten so far and I've remembered a lot. Um the present that Victor got for Rose was so expensive. It was so expensive that Lissa couldn't afford it.
And Lissa has a princess allowance.
And I've never really seen Victor and Rose be that close. So, what did you think about the fact that he dropped all this money? Do you think that he just got it for Rose to thank her for guarding Lissa? Or do you think he's like trying to get closer to Rose?
I think he knows more than what we think he knows. I think he's really appreciated to Rose for taking care of Lissa all these years, but like I said, I definitely think that note had a deeper meaning. I really like that Rose woke up and decided she could trust Dimitri. I thought that was really sweet. That was it's a big character development for her because she's never really trusted anybody but herself.
Yeah, Rose finally realizes that she and Dimitri have such a close bond and understanding. and that he would understand things the same way that she does because they see a lot of things the same way. And I really like him where that's going.
It needs to get there now. I want them to kiss.
Okay, well, let's keep reading then.
So long, farewell.
Oh god, that was so bad. All right, let's wrap this up. Do you have any social media that you'd like to plug?
No. No, I don't. I'm a pretty off the grid person. So
There you have it. See you next week.
goodbye.